Welcome to another episode of the Traveling Hoopers podcast. Guys, I am your host, Alan Pettigrew Jr. In front of me is my good friend, Calvin McGowan. Go ahead and let the people hear your name.
What's up, everybody? As always, it's a pleasure to be here.
Name, voice, it's all the same thing. Guys, we're coming to you live on Valentine's Day because we're great boyfriends, bro. This is what we do. We go ahead and leave our girlfriends, our wives in the back and go ahead and relax. Have some time from us. So we can talk about basketball. And because the NBA trade deadline was just 4 days ago, we're going to go ahead and break down some of the best trades in the league. And of course, we got to talk about the one that, makes the most sense and has really shifted the East standings as far as I'm concerned to get a KD still out, blah, blah, blah. And we don't fully know if Ben Simmons is going to even play this year, but that's besides the point. We just gonna look at it on paper, ladies and gentlemen. The 76ers get James Harden and Paul Millsap, who I have not. I kind of forgot he was on this roster.
Yeah.
And Nets get Ben Simmons, Andre Drummond, Seth Curry, a 2022 first round pick, and a 2027 first round pick. Calvin, thoughts?
Uh, I mean, like both teams probably got better, but I, yeah, I guess you kind of they would have asked they almost certainly asked for a lot for Harden anyway. That's really what the trade is about, Harden and Simmons. Um, right, and the Sixers got better for a couple reasons. One, right? Harden is going to provide better spacing than Simmons ever did. And also, unlike Simmons this season, he's actually going to play for them. Um, and, the Nets get, Ben Simmons, Joe Harris insurance, or is Joe Harris Seth Curry insurance now? Who's been better this year?
Put both of them in a wing and go to work. That's what we're gonna go with.
That
And I think
works.
Seth.
Um, and Andre Drummond, which means they now have a dude who can play the big man role, who is uh neither washed or didn't or is just barely old enough to drink.
And he's actually big. Because Speedy Claxton is tall, man, not big man. To steal something from Bobani Jones. That man's 7 foot. When he's turned sideways, he invisible. At least with Andre. I'm gonna be real with you, Calvin.
Hmm
I think Philly lost this trade. They literally just
I
gave up. They
That's
gave
fair.
up their backup big man, which
Mhm.
you need with Joel Embiid. Georges Niang is the second thing they got. And I get it, buyout market. I don't think you about to find somebody on the buyout market better than Andre Drummond. And then you gave up one of your leading scorers in Seth Curry. And one of the best, like, as far as I'm concerned, like pressure release valves in the league. Did you see the stat where he's basically shooting 48% from wide open corner threes this season?
I I didn't see it, but that doesn't surprise me.
That's one of the best marks in league history. So you mean to tell me we now have a guy who can average 20 points a game playing alongside Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant? As a person who's been champion in Brooklyn throughout all of this, like like to the death of me, we we gave up James Harden, who's by far the best point guard on this roster. But that just means we move someone like, I don't know, when we're having home games, Patty Mills, who's been having a great season, and then he goes to the bench when we're at away games, and then Seth Curry can come in with Patty Mills. It's like you literally just added more fuel to the fire and gave us. I know Andre Drummond isn't known to be like the biggest defensive anchor in the world, but you just gave us an actual solid big man, something that we Brooklyn fans. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm a Brooklyn fan until something happens. Uh, But you gave us an actual like defensive anchor and somebody who's not just going to get like pushed around all the time back there. That can rebound too. Like you just kind of like patched all of our holes. And now I'm not putting everything on the shoulder of Andre Drummond. That's why we got KD. So, and I don't know. You look, I hate to bring up the virus in this situation, but you know, a lot of the mask mandates are starting to get relaxed, which means we can get full-time Kyrie back before the playoffs start. We talk about like April. That's a whole month for him to get fully situated in his roster, and then we jump in May. You literally just made us better in every conceivable way, and I get it from the 76ers end. You needed somebody else to come play with Joel Embiid and Willicks to be a MVP year. And James Harden is exactly who you would think, hopefully. Like between the injuries and him like waffling to get in shape over the past like what 3 seasons really? Like it's a lot of weight to put on that man's shoulders across from another man who's having a lot of weight on his shoulders who's also injury prone. I don't I like it for the 76ers in the regular season. We gonna see what they do in the playoffs. Cause that's where all of this matters. And yes, the Nets are on like a 8-9 game skid right now. We ain't got KD. Y'all in trouble. That's all I'm saying. Y'all in trouble.
I mean, okay, if I may though, like probably one of the things it added some depth for y'all, which contrary to what you want to talk about, has kind of been important. But you can't tell me the starting DeAndre Bembry is a good idea. Like having to start him is good.
You have a point.
Like
You have a point.
it's like y'all had dudes, but like y'all didn't have many dudes, so dudes start getting hurt. You got some interesting looking lineups. But like now, right, you'll have, more like the depth will be better. The team shouldn't self-destruct when dudes get hurt the way I feel like it has this season.
Yeah, you got a point. And one more thing I am going to add. This isn't Kyrie Irving's fault. Every issue that we've had this season, it's not truly been Kyrie Irving's fault.
It's partially his fault. We don't need to act like it's not.
What's a few games? Look, people miss games all the time for injury. And Kyrie Irving's one of those people who misses games for injuries. I'm okay with icing him for like half the season.
Like, you're acting like it's not his fault, y'all. Like, it's not partially his fault that y'all are like in the 8th seed right now. Like, it's not just his fault. He's not the only issue y'all have, right? Lack of depth, KD being hurt, Harris being hurt. But like, you only get him in half the game, so you're in a worse spot than you'd be in if you also had him for what are they called again? Home games? Like,
look, we can't go back and change the past. We ain't got that technology yet. We don't. So all the things you were saying are true about him missing home games. I think we would have struggled if, like, regardless of the Kevin Durant injury, like, not regardless of the Kevin Durant injury, even if he was playing full time, we'd still be struggling with KD out.
This is true, but y'all struggle a little bit less. A little bit. Just a little.
Can you find out the difference in the 6th seed and the 8th seed? Like how many games back they are?
They are, looks like a good 4 or 5 games back.
4 or 5 games. You telling me?
I could be doing that math wrong though.
Okay. So let's say anywhere between 2.5 and 5 games. Kyrie Irving being on your team during the stretch of like the last 8 losses, and if you can pull it up, like our last 8 losses and who we lost against, Having Kyrie Irving on the floor, do you think that changes those losses?
Hold up.
And I get it, James Harden is there for a good portion of those games too, or possibly not because he's been injured too. So, like, I say it doesn't.
Let's see. Lord. Okay. Dang it. Okay. Y'all have dropped games to in what, the 11 game skid?
Yeah.
Drop games to Minnesota, Lakers, Nuggets, Warriors, Suns, Kings,
Okay.
Jazz, Denver again, Boston, Washington, and Miami.
Okay. So realistically, hearing that, there's only 4 games where I think we even had a chance with no KD. Like all of the West teams, they breaking they foot off in our butt with even with Kyrie. Like there's just not a lot we could do. Like
Minnesota?
that's actually one of the 4 games where I think we have a chance with Kyrie.
The Lakers?
But Minnesota's been kind of cooking at times, you know? Like, and we don't have a big man to stop Karl Anthony Towns. We don't have a defender that's gonna like really slow down Anthony Edwards too much. Like you almost need a system for that if we're doing like one-on-one matchups. Like the Kings, I think you said the Knicks, right?
Nah.
You didn't say the Knicks? Well, that goes back to 3 games. Like the Kings one is, I'm for sure it could have been different with Kyrie. Maybe the Lakers. Maybe the Lakers. Like that's 2. Washington. That's 3 games where I think that could have been a difference, and that puts us in what, the 7th seed. The skid is still here. It's just not 11 games.
Because 11 games is kind of bad. Also,
yeah.
Y'all had like a lot of these games y'all had Kyrie for, because most of these games are away games.
Goes back to what I was saying earlier. We need Kevin Durant. We need Kevin Durant, yo.
All right, let's go ahead and move on because we can get on this for a while. But all right, the Mavericks made a very confusing decision.
Oh yeah, big head scratcher.
Yeah, so the Mavericks traded Kristaps Porzingis and a 2nd-round pick to the Wizards for Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that correctly. Bertans?
Yeah. Bertans, you know, foreign players, foreign names. We'll let you slide, Calvin. I'm gonna be real with you. This trade makes no sense whatsoever to me. This is the best record that Dallas has had in years. This is the best we've seen Porzingis play in years. And I do understand that there was trade talks like over the past year because it was like Luka and Kristaps don't get along. And then they came out and were like, actually, we kind of do rock with each other. And then there was just like, let's see what Kristaps' trade value is when he just was not good. And then they had an opportunity to trade him last year and they didn't. And I imagine if this is the best trade package that was out there for Kristaps, maybe you sit at the 5th seed. Like, I do understand Spencer Dinwiddie as like a concept. You need somebody else next to Luka to take a little bit of that ball pressure away. Somebody that can score a little bit and also facilitate. The fact that Spencer Dinwiddie is averaging 13 points a game on basically like 6 assists, very promising. That is kind of like the person that you would like to have on your roster. With that being said, I think Jalen Brunson's having a really good season. Or at least like his numbers are similar to what you're getting from him.
Averaging 16 a game.
What's the assist looking like?
5.4.
So, and I get it. Spencer Dinwiddie's about like 6'5", 6'6". He's had some combo guard in his past because of one playing with Kyrie and the whole time with him being with the Nets, he also kind of like needs the ball in his hand. So I'm like, what's going on? Did you just trade for a backup point guard? Which is weird for your starting center. And then you get Davis Bertans. Notice we ain't talking about Davis Bertans. Like, I guess we only been talking for about like 30 seconds to a minute. We ain't talking about Davis Bertans. Like, he's not the what do they call him? Like the red flamethrower or something. Like when he was having like that crazy 3-point shooting season, he hasn't sniffed that since. So like this is a really weird trade, and you're giving up like draft capital. I get it; it's only a second round pick. So like I guess the value on Bertans is probably like a second round pick. Is definitely there for Spencer Dinwiddie, but it's at the risk of giving up Kristaps. Like his contract got to be up soon or something. He asking for like another bag, and if that's the case, well, you sit down and we'll give you 4 years. That's actually a lot. I was gonna say 4 years, 80, but that's a lot for a center, even though he is like our age.
Okay, so like I guess okay, I'm gonna say this, and like I don't know, maybe I am going a little too far with this, but so as like when we saw the trade, talk mess in the group chat or whatever, right? Like I told you I don't think the Mavericks were actually built to do anything for real anyway. And the reason I believe this is just because, right, as soon as they're like, oh, Luka's cold, they're like, let's put all our chips in on this, like, 20, like, for this window that this 20-year-old traded for us. Like, no, just because your high draft pick is cold doesn't mean you have to speed up the rebuild. I don't care what dudes on Reddit are telling you. Like, because you speed it up and then you miss the opportunity to give him properly build a team around him, right? Like that whole build a team for a dude works for LeBron because he's LeBron, okay? And Kristaps was like the second best player on the team this year, right? And Luka, as good as he is, he's not LeBron. Definitely not right now or anything and like you rush the rebuild. It's like you have a team that is competitive, right? They're a good team, but like they got the record to say they're a good team. I didn't say they were like amazing or like legit contenders.
That's new.
Like
that's new.
But my point still being, right? They're competitive, right? You can't just phone it in on them and expect to get a game. But right, like you went all in and now like he doesn't have dudes you drafted after him to like grow with. That like there's not much growth. The growth potential in the Mavericks is completely dependent on one dude. Right? And that dude is Doncic. And that's not a recipe for success. And he's young. Right? Y'all will still have him for a minute. There's no reason to rush that. But if you're going to rush that, why are you going to give up the second best player on your squad for Spencer Dinwiddie and a giant 3-point shooter who's not shooting threes right now?
And can't do anything else.
Right? So this, like, they made a trade that and like their worst team now. And like, I like Spencer Dinwiddie. Right? I'm not here to like shit on Spencer Dinwiddie, but like he's not gonna move the needle for them because he wasn't what they needed. Like not from an on-court production standpoint.
Yeah.
Right? Now, maybe from an off-court leadership type standpoint, he'll help, but like that doesn't change the fact that like the team you're leading isn't great outside of one dude, and the team is entirely dependent on that dude playing amazing night in and night out, which I don't care how good you are, that's not a recipe for success. Like unless you're LeBron and have just amazing longevity and don't miss games and such.
Yeah. Now look, I am 100% with you on that. I do not see one thing that I've noticed as a person who has been a Dallas Mavericks fan before I was a Nets fan, before I was a a OKC fan. That's how they build rosters. Like they're not like a let's build through the draft and let's hope. They truly believe, and when I say they, I'm talking like mainly about Mark Cuban. They believe that they're always in the running for a high level draft. I mean, not draft picks, but free agents. And no, like I think the biggest free agent that they could have got over like the past 10 years was like DeAndre Jordan, and they lost that.
Mm-hmm.
And they lost that in a hilarious way, bro. Like they locked they Chris Paul locked a man in a room and made him change his mind over like you get in your potential best free agent in like 10 years. Be patient. We saw that it took 10 years it took more than 10 years for what is that, like 15 actually, for Dirk Nowitzki to get his. Be patient. Like, and I truly think in like because the 76ers trade happened, that's like the bigger names, the bigger stories. I think the real story here is why in the F this trade happened. Because it does not make any sense. Like I want to hear like the underlying beef. Like whose agent said F you to who? Was it like was Mark Cuban tired of like coming through the locker room and seeing like a giant 7'3" dude moping? Like was Luka Doncic sneak dissing? Like I'm grasping for straws here, and I'm not a person that likes to grasp for straws. My arm's not long enough. Like I just need something to make sense, and this one doesn't. So I'm okay with going out on a limb and be like, there's more to this story that we are just not getting. And I wish I was back in Dallas and had my media credential because I gotta talk to somebody. I gotta know something. Even if it's a lot, like make it sound good to me. Like I don't get it whatsoever, bro. Like to the point that it got my stomach hurting. I want to just go ahead and talk about the Celtics trade.
It's just before we do, while I'm thinking about it, two things. They couldn't have gotten a first out of this. One. And also, this is probably this is unnecessary at this point. I probably should have said it earlier, but like I'm kind of looking forward to the day where we lump. I don't know why, but like when we lump Nash into the crew of like high level point guards that can't coach. That's gonna be a while because he's backed by like KD and Kyrie and now Ben Simmons. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
I just
I feel like
need to throw that somewhere.
yeah. I feel like there's always jokes about it, but like he only been doing this for like 2 years. I think we should give him a chance.
Oh no. Well, it's like we definitely should with him, right? But
Yeah.
like, but like there have been a number of Hall of Fame points that haven't been able to coach. They're like very good points, right? Derek Fisher can't coach, couldn't coach in the NBA. It's worse than the WNBA. It doesn't make sense.
Oh, he got beat up in between that time. So remember that.
Huh?
That's funny.
Like it just. But okay, moving on though. I just needed to throw that in there. I know it was unnecessary, but now that I got that out of my system. All right, the Celtics got Derek White for Josh Richardson, Romeo Langford, and 2 firsts. I don't really have an opinion on this one.
You know, I have not watched a lot of Spurs for years. I don't care to. Watching bottom feeders, not really my thing. It's the reason why I put my fandom on hold with OKC until the year 2027, when all those draft picks become something. I feel the same way with Spurs. They'll be back eventually. I believe in their pedigree and their scouting department. Blah blah blah. This seems like a full-on. We're going to go ahead and do this rebuild. Mm-hmm. Romeo Langford is young enough. I think his rookie contract is coming up pretty soon. If not this season, this next season. He's still like 22, maybe 23. Like, he's young enough where you can we can make you a 3-and-D dude. And he's starting to form into something in his last season and a half. I get it. I'm interested-ish. McDonald's All-American, decent year at Indiana, crazy scoring history. Josh Richardson, proven vet, can get your wings in line. And that contract's almost up. Celtics getting Derek White. You have another guard that can actually play on both ends, which is actually perfect because the next trade shows us that they got rid of their starting point guard. So it's interesting. And the fact that the Spurs got 2 first-round picks out of them, even though one of them is in the year 2028, and that is a swap. We gonna see if that even matters to them 6 years from now. This is a for the future move, and I'm not mad at anybody on this. Derek, I'm glad we get to watch Derek White actually play meaningful basketball. He's been a name that people talked about for 2-3 seasons, and I'm just not about to watch the Spurs. Don't care.
Fair enough. All right. Yeah. So Daniel Tice?
Yeah.
He's a Celtic again. And all it took for the Celtics to put him back on the roster that they let him leave from the first time was Dennis Schroeder, Enes. I'm sorry. Enes Freedom, Enes Kanter.
Formerly known.
Formerly known as Enes Kanter, and Bruno Fernando. I mean, it's definitely an upgrade. For what they need, Tyus is infinitely better than Freedom. I'm sorry, this is just so hard to take serious.
Calvin, you can do it. Keep going, Calvin. Keep going.
Was Fernando doing anything?
No. I looked.
Oh.
There's another, I think it's Bruno Caboclo. Mm-hmm. And I thought this was him for a second. And Bruno, he been in the league for a long time doing exactly nothing. So I just assumed this was the same guy because his first name is Bruno.
No, these are different dudes, but
I don't get this one.
I mean, if I'm thinking about it, right? I don't know. I don't know what you. I'm sorry. This is just. Why did this man change his name?
Okay, look, the story behind it is very powerful. It also feels very petty, but I'm not getting into politics. Do what you want.
We can do this later. I don't know what they do with Freedom. I'm sorry.
Hey, you worried about Freedom? Dennis Schroeder. No. Who's Dennis Schroeder here for? Is he supposed to guide Josh Christopher and Jalen into being better point guards or guards overall? No.
I mean, look, if I'm taking a guess, right? Fernando, maybe they look at him and all right, we'll get him, see if he can be anything, right? See, We get him on the court, see like if we like him, right? How he does like in our system or whatever. Freedom. I feel like he's probably there.
Calvin, are you
To
crying? Are you over
uh
there crying from laughter?
yes, I am. But like I'm assuming he's just there to make the salaries match or something. And like if nothing else, right? Your young guys will have experience playing with a decent guard, which I don't know. I'm assuming that'll be helpful. In Schroeder, but like otherwise, I don't know, right? Like it's just like I get why the Celtics want Tice, right? Like he was good for them when he was there, and like the replacement was Freedom, and
Calvin, be professional.
I'm sorry.
Stop laughing at this man, man. Okay, look, while Calvin's taking a sabbatical. Oh, look, I get it. Like Calvin was saying, I get it from the Celtics standpoint. They're clearly going all in on defense. I think that's part of the reason why they picked up Derek White, his ability to play defense and be a two-way player. Daniel Tice, strictly defense. I think he can stretch the floor a little bit. One thing that was blowing my mind, I was like, whoa, the Rockets must have been paying Daniel Tice a crazy amount of money for all of these salaries to match. Because Enos Freedom, formerly known as Enos Cantor, he's been in the league a long time. He should fetch a fair price, at least league minimum. Dennis Schroeder, then I forgot Dennis Schroeder screwed himself out of a lot of money. And he's only getting $2 million this year. So I was like, okay, this all makes sense. This is probably like a $5 million deal.
Okay.
Which, pennies to billionaires, but I guess we shouldn't be laughing at $5 million.
That didn't stop me.
Yeah, man. I get it for Celtics. A lot of names that just 3 years ago would have been like, oh, okay, this is a pretty penny. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to throw some first round picks in here. Who's the general manager with the Rockets?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah, not my thing. Don't care.
I mean, look at it this way. If for some reason they thought Tice was helping them win too many games, they fixed that problem. But then I'm not sure why you keep Schroeder.
Well, I think both of them are going to hit the buyout market. And I can see Freedom not hitting the buyout market for some strange reason, but you can't keep Dennis Schroeder here. Not for the development of your cards. You cannot keep him here whatsoever. Like, he has to go.
Okay. We will move on because I have jokes and like I don't need to engage in that. But all right, so the Bucks got Ibaka in a 4-team trade that feels needlessly confusing. But all right, so the Bucks so it's a 4-team trade involving the Bucks, the Clippers, the Kings, and the Pistons. All right, so the Bucks got Serge Ibaka, 2 second-round picks, and cash considerations.
Steak dinners, washing machines, fax machines.
The Clippers got Rodney Hood, Semi Ojeleye, and
I'm draft stash guy. You keep him pushing.
I want let me not embarrass myself. But yes, a dude who's currently in Europe. Uh, the Kings got Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Jackson, Trey Lyles, another draft stash guy. I don't feel like butchering folks' names right now, so I apologize for not mentioning people's names properly. And a second round pick. And the Pistons got Marvin Bagley. Which I don't know. Saying all that out loud feels anticlimactic somehow.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I like this deal for everybody, at least like conceptually.
Mhm.
Uh, the Pistons are acquiring a bunch of young talent, and they can just choose not to re-sign Marvin Bagley. Not a lot of skin off their plate. And if they do choose to get him, and they try to see if he can be what we thought he would be out of the draft, this is like a completely fresh start. I like it for both guys. Um, the Kings.
I let me be the first to say that like I thought Josh Jackson was older.
No, like Josh Jackson is. I think Josh Jackson is my age. I think
He is
actually he's what 26,
25.
25,
He turns
25.
26 next year, I guess. His birthday already passed.
Okay, so he's spring chicken. Love it, Kansas man. I hope he becomes a star here. Trey Lyles. I ain't heard nothing about Trey Lyles since he left Utah, and I don't remember when that was.
Uh oh, that's right. They did have him on Utah at one point.
hmm Um, look, it's the Kings. I don't care about the Kings. Uh,
It's okay,
the,
nobody does.
the Kings do not make like healthy, sensible uh, draft
All right.
draft choices, uh, signings,
I'm
decent
looking at his
signings
career numbers and I'm so confused.
for who?
This is Lyles.
Like,
Like his numbers look weirdly all over the place. Like percentages, all that. Like one season, average 8.5 a game. The next, 6.4. One season, shoot 38% from the field. The next, 25.
well,
It,
that sound about right.
like fairness, I mean, he's averaging a career high in points, but like this isn't the most efficient ball he's ever played this season.
I mean, he was with Detroit, so makes sense.
Look, let him enjoy things.
We gonna act like the Kings part of the trade wasn't here because I can't tell you anything about the Kings. I can tell you a little bit about the players that are here, but they
Um,
about to go into the void as far as I'm concerned.
I
I don't know. I don't care. We'll see what happens next trade deadline.
I mean the Kings have Sabonis now. I guess that's something. Uh,
They got to
Granted,
prove it to me, baby.
they had to give up a dude who actually wanted to play for the Kings of all teams. Uh, and he was good. So like
He'll
you know
come
what?
back up later in like two trades.
Look, hey,
Uh, the Clippers, though, I do. We got to watch out for the Clippers. And I understand we've been saying watch out for the Clippers ever since Kawhi and PG got there almost 3 years
aren't they
ago.
both hurt right now though?
Yes. Hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of them coming back this season. They're not a good team. Do you got the standings in front of you right now?
Uh, Give me a second to pull him back up.
All right. I might beat you.
Okay, I got
28.
him.
Okay.
Wait, who was said? I don't remember who we were asking about. I'm sorry.
The
Oh,
Clippers.
the Clippers. They are somehow sitting in the eighth seed. They also
Okay.
got
So
a losing record, but
yeah, 28 and 30.
yeah.
So they already have like a decent defensive core right now. Like, I don't know what their identity is, but they're a tough team. They are.
Mhm.
If everybody comes back again and you're adding dudes like Rodney Hood and Semi Ojeleye, whose contracts I probably have to look at to see how long they're there, Rodney Hood is not a bad defender. He's also a guy that can get you like 15 a game. And we've seen him do that with guys who are ball dominant while he was in Portland with CJ and Dame. Another trade that's hilarious. Uh, with CJ and Dame, while he was on the roster hitting big shots and giving you another wing defender. And then we go to somebody like Semi Ojeleye, who's 6'8", in a burly dude who can guard like 3 different positions, in rebounds, in plays defense. Like, we're looking at a really good wing forward defensive front when PG and Kawhi come back next year. And then they'll mess around and like fall to like the lottery, which that's like a scrappy team. I don't know if that's gonna happen. But if you get like a mid-tier draft pick that like you can either like flip to get somebody else, like the Clippers might be able to get either like a third star or just be really good on defense next year while also having like 2 really good scorers on the roster. Like I'm interested in like the subtle build of what's going on over there. And draft stash guy. Cool, whatever. I don't know if he even comes over here because I think he got drafted like a while ago. Like, let me look up when he got drafted. Oh, he's Serbian, by the way. We know
Ah,
the Serbian superpower over there. He got drafted in 2019. So something may happen, something may not happen. We'll see. And then we go to the Bucks. You need a shot blocker because you don't have your post presence in
Lopez?
Brook Lopez. You got him, and he stretches the floor a little bit. Like, and then you got a bunch of second round picks, which cool. And you got per diem. I like it. Sensible moves for everybody.
All right, so let's talk Hornets, Wizards. Um, okay, so the Hornets got Montrezl Harrell, the Wizards got Vernon Carey Jr. and Ish Smith. Are the Wizards blowing it up?
Um,
Oh, they also
that's a
got a
great.
second 2023 second round pick.
I think that's a great question. Um, I don't think this move made them better in like any way possible. Uh, I personally think the Wizards should have blown it up like at the beginning of the season, but they proved us wrong and told us to shut up. And with the whole Bradley Bill move, but they not doing anything to make this man want to stay. Like Bradley Bill just he says he love the city. He must really love that city because the franchise don't love him.
I argument, argument. I think
Okay.
they're trying. They just suck. Like, not like look like they went and got a bunch of players from the Lakers who have play like know how to play good basketball, right? They put a respectable team around him, even though like I'm not gonna lie, when I first looked at it, I'm like, yeah, this roster doesn't give me any kind of confidence. And they especially early they looked a lot better than I thought they would. Um, Obviously they're a bit back. They're kind of back down to earth now. Probably doesn't help that Beal's out for the rest of the season. And like if Beal's out for the rest of the season, there's not much point in keeping a lot of those dudes around. Like you probably keep Kuzma, and then like try and move everybody else for like draft picks and young players or something. Because it's just like you got no chance of doing anything without Beal. You didn't have much chance of doing anything with him. And like so right? There's not much point in like holding on to a dude like Montrezl Harrell. And I guess it's a good trade in that respect, but it's also just like you're gonna have to answer what you're gonna do about Beal, which is a wholly separate discussion.
Yeah. When we talk about like acquiring assets and moving on to the future, I don't know what Vernon Carey's role is like in the current landscape of the NBA. Like, it's not like you traded for a big body who's figuring out his place in the league. I get that he's only been in the league what two seasons. And then you got
second season.
Yeah, and then you got a veteran point guard in a 2023 second round pick. I didn't say anything inspiring for like even a rebuild.
Like,
and I get you're not getting a lot out of Montrezl Harrell, but like,
I mean, they might also just be trying to thread the needle between like doing stuff for some kind of rebuild and like shedding cap space. Like you know what? If we're gonna be trash, we might as well be trash and not pay luxury tax or something. I don't think they were paying luxury tax, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Look, your guess is as good as mine. This feels like a king's trade to me. And I don't mean that in like they're doing a bad job. I mean that in like I don't know what's going on here. I can't tell you. Like,
okay,
and I don't care enough about either of these two teams to be like excited or looking for anything.
I don't know. It's just it was a trade that happened. Like, I'd like to see Vernon Carey Jr. do well in the league. I won't pretend. But like I don't know. It's a trade that happened, and like I don't know why. It's just like he's been in the league a year, and it's just like you barely remember that he's there. Like there, in you know what, whatever. Moving on. That's gonna depress me a little bit.
Yeah.
But all right, so the Suns have Torrey Craig again. So they got Torrey Craig and like cash considerations. So maybe the new Call of Duty. And they got and they got him from the Pacers for Jalen Smith and a 2022 second round pick that's gonna be at the end of the draft anyway. Like that's a pick you just throw at a guy and just hope that maybe you get a dude with some potential or something. I mean, explain this one to me.
This feels like a win now move, and you just bolster defense. Torrey Craig's a really solid wing defender. You know, Call of Duty is great for team morale. Jalen Smith has not been bad this year, and for the Pacers who are rebuilding, and does Jalen Smith shoot threes? I remember like out of college there was like some talk about him shooting threes. I don't know if he does.
Okay, so I'm looking at his numbers right now. His in his time in Phoenix, he's not been a good 3-point shooter. Through his first 2 games in Indiana, he has.
Small sample size. I'll let it slide.
You're correct. You're correct. But like it looks like a chain. It looks like getting out from behind Ayton is probably going to be good for him.
Okay, so you scratched the need for both teams. You just lost a big man. You bring another win in. Torrey Craig, good defender to have across or backing up. My guy down there whose name I completely forget. Really
Turner?
good himself. No, the defender. Plays on the wing. He's in the starting lineup. A lot of teeth. Big smile. Played for Villanova.
Brogdon?
No. Close. No, for the Suns.
Oh. Bridges.
Boom, Mikal
Okay.
Bridges. You can tell which Bridges I like more in that draft. But hey, uh, yeah, just go get more defense. Not mad at it. Um, and then you can kind of see the same thing with the next Suns trade. Aaron Holiday, solid young point guard, defends. I don't know where he's getting playing time between like Chris Paul and the greatest lottery pick known to man, who has had two careers in a very short span of time. Um, remember him dearly as an OKC fan, but also cannot remember his name at the moment. Cam,
Payne.
boom, campaign. Great name, by the way. He should run for office. Campaign for campaign.
But yeah, the Suns got Holiday for cash considerations.
More steak dinners in Call of Duty.
I'm I'm really beginning to think that they were just trying to shed cap.
Hmm.
Like as we're looking at these trades, because it's like they're not getting much back.
Yeah. Jalen Smith was on a rookie deal, though, right?
Uh, yeah, Jalen Smith. This is the second year in the league.
Yeah. So you picked up more money with Torrey Craig.
Well, no. I'm talking about the Wizards.
Oh, the Wizards.
I'm talking about the Wizards. Like the more I'm looking at these trades and whatever, right? Trading Aaron Holiday for cash considerations. Um, moving Montrezl Harrell. I'm beginning to think a lot of this is like trying to shed cap space and like trying to like do something that might help you in the future too, like trying to thread that needle a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't got nothing for you.
All right, cool. So, I don't know why I thought Dragic was still on the Heat. Anyway, so the Raptors trade Goran Dragic to the Spurs. All right, the Raptors got Thad Young and Drew Eubanks, who is still in the league, and a 2022 second round pick for Goran Dragic and a first.
Boom. That was enough. They don't really want Goran Dragic. He's definitely going to be on the buyout market at some point. But again, he is a foreign guy, so he could just be there for the time being.
I mean, if I'm the Spurs, I'm not sure I'd put him on the buyout though. Isn't he? Like I know, like he's not playing the best ball he's ever played, but like, is he not like a good influence on your players, like young players? Like
He is, but at some point, I'm not sure how much of a good influence you need when you're when you're the Spurs.
I guess, but like, you do need some, Bo. Like,
I feel like even the young guys that are there, like you kind of. I mean, they did trade Bryn Forbes and Derek White. They might just need a point guard to fill out the roster. So you might have a point. But I feel like even the young guys that are with the Spurs, like you got Greg Popovich there. Like I think everybody respects him enough where it's like, oh, that's great. We should just act right. We should act right till he leaves.
maybe, but all right. So something vaguely more interesting, like it'd be more interesting. No, I'm looking at it, there's not that much going on. All right, the Magic got Bol and PJ Dozier from the Celtics. Correction, they got Bol, PJ Dozier, a future second, and cash considerations. No jokes. Okay. The Celtics got a 2023 second.
Okay.
How far in the future was this second? They don't even put the year.
Can't tell you. I like how they basically sold these boys for a ham sandwich. It's like second round here, okay.
Well, look, right. The Magic are the Magic, which means they're not good. So Bol might actually get some like legit NBA minutes.
I think he out for the season. He ain't doing nothing.
Next year he might get some legit NBA minutes. And I don't know. Like I haven't paid attention to Dozier since he got drafted.
No.
Correct.
Well,
He didn't get drafted. He was undrafted. But
he played solid minutes when he was with the Clippers.
he's also, still fairly young, 25. I guess it's for the Magic, I guess it's like, trying to get some young players, see what they look like, get a future second. I don't know why you gave up your 2023. If you're the Magic, you need all the draft picks you can get at the moment. I feel like. Or maybe there's something about the Magic I'm missing. Point is, I guess the Celtics just didn't want, they just didn't have a place for dudes on the roster no more.
Bird in the hand is worth twice as much like the one in the bush. I don't know how the saying goes, and I don't know what this trade means for anybody. Actually, it makes a little bit of sense for the Celtics to just be like, I don't want these.
I mean, it also makes sense for the Magic to be like, yeah, sure, we'll take them. Why not?
Let's go ahead and move on to a trade that I was working really hard. I was working really hard to get a YouTube video out that I published by myself, like in a timely fashion, and they ruined it. They ruined it by trying to kill Alexander in less than 24 hours. Like that man he didn't even get a chance to set foot in Portland. I hope they told this man before he bought his ticket where he was actually going. Because Nickeil Alexander was then traded to the Jazz after just being traded from Portland with Juancho Hernan Gomez.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Blazers got Joe Ingles, Elijah Hughes, a second-round pick. Spurs got Thomas Satoransky. Shout out to him for still being here. Slightly not confused, but forgot about him completely. I thought he was still with the Bulls or something. And a second-round pick. Dame should be angry.
It's just like I'm trying to think because I'm just like, I respect that the Blazers organization is trying really hard to like put a team together that doesn't suck.
Are they?
I didn't say they were doing a good job. I just respected the effort. But like, fairness, I don't know why. Okay, if you got Nickeil Alexander, Walker, I'm not sure why you would move him. Wasn't he on OKC?
No, he was with the Pelicans.
Okay. It was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's OKC.
Yeah.
Okay. But like it's just like Joe Ingles is good. Granted, I'm pretty sure he's hurt right now. Memory says he's hurt.
For the season.
For the season. Like I also don't really understand what, hopefully we'll go further back in trades because I'm not sure why the Jazz. Actually, no, this is that trade. I don't know why the Jazz moved him. But that's me. Granted, he can't help this season, but like, I also kind of thought you generally could whatever. Anyway, this I don't think this helps. It doesn't really help the Blazers.
At all.
Like
this would have helped the Blazers 3 years ago.
Like, it's just like I'm looking at it, right? It it's just like Hughes is a guy, and like I'm not saying he's terrible or anything, but you know, he it's his second year in the league, and he's currently kind of a back of the rotation dude. Actually, yeah, he's currently kind of a back of the rotation dude. Um, and there's nothing wrong with that early in your career, but that's not gonna help Lillard win games. Ingles can't help Lillard win games on the bench. Um, the second round pick cannot help Lillard win games right now. And presumably, for some reason, the Blazers are still trying to win games right now.
Look, I'm gonna be real with you. I think we should talk about the other teams in this because we're just gonna circle back around to this with the CJ McCollum trade.
Okay, all right, cool. This uh Satoransky, um, he's still here, I guess. I'm sorry. I feel like I should. This is what I get for not buying 2K. But it's just
This man gonna spend $65 just to get roster updates.
but I'm not paying money for that trash though. But like let me pull up his numbers and try and get a feel.
You being nice by even pulling up his numbers. I'm just gonna foreign point guard going to the Spurs. That's
pretty
all.
much.
That's all I care about.
And I'm assuming you do it mainly for the second round pick, which isn't gonna be a very good second round pick. But it'll be better than that Sun second round pick that we talked about earlier. See, they got that going. Then the Jazz get Alexander Walker, who he's been solid.
Yeah.
Like
And I said this in the YouTube video that I made that it immediately got ripped to shreds just by other trades. Nickeil Alexander can play a little bit of defense, and he has improved every single season. Like he went from rookie year averaging 4 points a game, second year averaging 8 to now almost averaging 13. You found like almost the perfect person to play Joe Ingles if you're looking for somebody else to help offensively.
Okay, the only thing about this that I'm scratching my head a little bit, and maybe let me pull up their like roster depth chart right quick. Maybe there's something I missed. About them wanting to acquire Hernan Gomez. Well, they did give up Joe Ingles. Maybe there's some salary matching in that.
Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking, right? It's just like, okay, it's like, because you look at his numbers and it's just like, I'm not sure why they did it. Like, are you hoping he's like Gobert insurance? Because like it doesn't look like he is at all.
He's not. He's a little bit more of like a passer, like play hard type guy. And I wouldn't exactly go as far to say play hard, but he there. Uh, so third big man, not a horrible option for a third big man, by the way. Uh, can't tell you much else after that. Again, he's played in teams that where they're kind of like in the annals of the league where I'm not going to go watch. I believe before this he was playing for like the Hornets or something, and now he just came from San Antonio. I'm not about to go look at his highlights. Tell you that.
Oh, okay. But all right, so the Thunder add KZ Okpala. I feel like I'm pronouncing his first name wrong somehow.
Oh no, you're right, KZ.
Anyway, the Heat traded KZ Okpala for a 2026 second. And it says here, additional agreement, the 2023 first round pick already owed to OKC from Miami has been changed to a 2025 first round pick that is one that is like lottery protected, and if not conveyed, will be a 2026 unprotected. Why?
I'd punch him in the throat for that. It was like, why can't I have this? You want KZ? It was like, nah, I guess.
Okay, no, here's my confusion. All right, reading that and reading it out loud, it makes sense now because it kind of just looked like nonsense when I was reading it to myself. And like it still kind of is nonsense because it's just like, why would y'all agree to like change the pick that they give you to like a 2025 lottery protected pick instead of whatever was in 2023? Like for what can you tell me about Okpala?
I can't. I don't even remember where he went to school. I just Wonderful. No, actually he went to Stanford. The buzz about him is bigger forward, show like signs of being able to do like some on the ball stuff. And you get a guy who's going to try hard because he just came from the Heat. I can't tell you anything outside of that. I don't even know if that man's played. Like this is one of those trades where I'm gonna be real with you.
He's played. I'm looking at his stuff. He's played. He's been fine. Right? Like his percentages look fine. He doesn't get minutes like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna be real with you, Calvin. On Bleacher Report, I still subscribe to like getting updates from the OKC. I didn't know this trade happened. Like I think I got the Miami Heat too. I didn't know this trade happened. I don't. This is literally like, in stocks they have something called futures, where it's like a commodity that's like way in the future. You can buy it, hopefully it goes up, it goes down. But it's like so out in the future that it almost doesn't matter for today. That's what this trade is. Like, unless KZ Okpala like turns into something like special, great. But he also has to beat out like 3 or 4 dudes that will play in front of him for his position. I'm surprised OKC even gave up a draft pick, to be honest with you. Like, I don't want to talk about this.
The OKC fan within you is bothered by this one.
The OKC fan within me is dormant.
Yeah, but he's still like rolling over and whatever he's hibernating in. Anyway,
that man is in a Brooklyn Nets jersey as we speak. He don't care. He don't know who's on that roster for real. He's like, ooh, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander highlights. That's what we like.
All right. The Kings and the Pacers trade. All right. So the Pacers got Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Tristan Thompson. The Kings got Domantas Sabonis, Justin Holiday, Jeremy Lamb, and a 2023 second.
Damn.
Okay. So the Kings, admittedly, got the best player out of this in Sabonis, right? Best player today out of this, Sabonis. And they gave up Tyrese Halliburton, a player who actually wanted to play for the Kings, the poor tortured soul.
He was drunk. Don't hold him against him. He's young.
Well, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but it's the kind of thing. It's like, maybe I should root against the Kings, which, as I saw somebody post on the internet, is kind of like rooting against a kid with cancer. But like,
oh Jesus.
But like, I don't know. Yeah, they trade away people who want to play for them. Right? They weren't good with Cousins on the team, but that wasn't Cousins' fault. That the front office was trash. It's not Halliburton's fault the front office is trash. It's not Fox's fault that the front office is trash. Um, I I mean, like, I guess they got better for today anyway. I don't know. Like Sabonis is a good player. He's a good player, right? Him and Fox, that should be fun. Buddy Held is finally out of Sacramento. Good for him. Um, to go. I'm sorry. You know I'm not gonna ask this ignorant question on here, but like,
Maybe you should ask.
no. No, but like, I I mean, none of this is gonna help the Pacers win today. I don't think.
Okay. So I
Um,
beg to differ.
okay.
The last time Domantas Sabonis was an all-star was when he was playing with Victor Oladipo.
hmm
That is a very athletic guard that can create offense for himself and was somewhat adept in the pick and roll.
hmm
That's exactly what you're getting with um, what's my man name? De'Aaron Fox.
No, that's cool. I'm like, but I said I'm not. This isn't helping the Pacers win.
Oh, yeah. But I also think the Pacers, my bad. I also think the Pacers are blowing this joint up.
I I mean, I guess they
Yeah,
might
like
as well. There's like they are they've won 19 games all season. They've lost their last 6. Um, they're not good
yeah, they're not. They're
or
not.
anything resembling good,
Yeah.
right? The Wizards are respectable at least. I don't think the Pacers can say that right now. Like, look, it's like if the Magic or the Pistons decide to go on a small winning streak, I don't know, beating up on other trash teams, I'd imagine.
The
Um, huh?
the Kings beating up on the Kings.
Okay, fine. like they they'd have a record comparable to the Pacers, and like actually the Pacers could continue losing, and like it's still just my point being they're not good. Might as well blow it up, I guess. The Kings got better in the short term. Um, you know, Sabonis is still a fairly young player, so that's good. Uh, I okay if we say that like Fox and Sabonis are a solid core. I then what do they have? Who else is playing on the team?
Harrison Barnes.
Who else is playing on the team? Like, I mean, like Barnes is fine.
Chimezi Metu, Rashawn Holmes, and don't look at the rest of the roster because you won't be happy.
Okay, at the risk, I'm about to see how I need to know how bad this is. Like,
I'm glad
I
we get like live react to your face and
let's
all the
see.
disappointment that's gonna come.
It's just like I know they're trash. Like, how bad can the roster be?
It's bad. It's for my money one of the worst rosters in the league right now.
That's okay. Let's see. Harrison Barnes, Terrence Davis, DiVincenzo, De'Aaron Fox, Maurice Harkless, Justin Holiday, Rashawn Holmes, Josh Jackson. Hold up, my computer is. Okay, there we go. Josh Jackson, Damian Jones, Lewis King, Jeremy Lamb, Alex Lynn, Trey Lyles, Shamize Metu,
Yeah.
Okay. Davion. They have Davion Mitchell?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Namias Kita? Help, bro. And Sabonis. Okay. So good on Alex Lynn for still collecting a check.
Boy, pays to be
Um,
7 foot.
what? Harkless is still around, I guess. I don't feel compelled to hate on DiVincenzo.
Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up for you, my guy. They have weirdly improved this roster during the trade. I do not know what that means for them in the win column. I do think adding Sabonis does add probably like 3 more wins to their expected uh, win total. I'm not sure if this keeps them out of the lottery. Like I could see them. Like, can you look up where they are in the standings right now?
Hold on, I'm gonna have to go back because
Okay,
I had the standings a second ago. But they are like third from the bottom in the West.
so that's what number 12, 13.
They are 13th in the West.
So if they turn everything on, like there's instant chemistry between De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, which it seems like it has been over like the past 2 games. Again, small sample size. You got guys like Mo Harkless, who is a proven defender. Like in we've seen it in Portland, we've seen it with the Clippers, and then you got Justin Holiday, who's a known defender. You got DiVincenzo, who's not really much of a defender, but he is a energizing scorer type guy. They got better. They didn't get like widely better. Like they didn't get competitive, but they got better. Like they got, hey guys, we're going to the postseason. Oh my goodness, what does that mean? It means we're gonna lose in like the first or second round of the play-in tournament.
Let's be
Which,
real, it'll be the first.
but that is the most postseason success they've had since what's my young brother's name? You're not
Weber,
young anymore, huh?
Weber.
Yes, Chris Webber. So that's almost like 20 years ago, bro. Like I don't remember the Chris Webber days at all. I remember highlights and the fact that they may or may not have got cheated against the Lakers. I don't remember anything about that era. Like this is the closest they'll be to something interesting. Like I'm hoping that it's the Kings. It's hard for me to like root for them in any conceivable way whatsoever. So let's please talk about the
All right.
Pacers in this. And the Pacers have like the Pacers did 2 things in both the trades that happened. They got a young guard that everybody seems to be excited about, and they got some older vets who can probably be on the next thing smoking during the off season or trades. Like Buddy Hield is still a 6'6" shooter. That is a commodity. Tristan Thompson. I don't. He's useful enough where you could probably get like a second round pick for him or something. Like that's my evaluation of Tristan Thompson. Uh, I I hesitate in saying this because I am not fully on the Tyrese Halliburton bandwagon. Like, I haven't seen enough, and what I have seen from him does not look like a all star to me. Like, and I get it. Good scoring numbers, good facilitator, really smart guy. Doesn't even that if he does become an all-star, that does not sound like a high-end all-star to me, personally.
I mean, what, 14 points, 7 assists. I'm like, obviously he's not an all-star now, but you can.
Yeah.
But like looking at that, it's very understandable why folks are high on him.
Yeah. I just need a little bit more, and I don't see
He's
what it
also put up
like.
disgusting numbers in his first 2 games as a Pacer.
Yeah. Like what are we talking about?
22 points off 55% shooting, 55% from deep, 11 assists, and 2 steals. Obviously, it's not going to stay like that. But
Yeah. But if he can become a guy who's 20 points a game, 7 assists strong, that is all-star to borderline all-star numbers.
oh yeah.
That is CJ McCollum production. Yeah.
Speaking of CJ McCollum.
Yeah, the last trade that matters for us, baby.
All right. So, the Trailblazers finally broke up CJ and Dame, which is
best backcourt in the league. I don't care what you say.
I'm not going to say anything then. But I mean, they were definitely exciting. But all right. So, full seriousness now. All right. So they traded McCollum to the Pelicans. The Pelicans got McCollum, Larry Nance Jr., and Tony Snell, and the Blazers got Josh Hart, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who got moved to Utah basically immediately. Thomas Satoransky, who got moved to the Spurs basically immediately, and Didi Lazada, who I probably mispronounced his name, and I don't know what he does. As well as a protected first in this draft, a swap in 2026 and a swap in 2027. Buddy's a rookie, I guess.
Look, this is another one where it feels like a spit in the face of Damian Lillard. This man didn't told you he want to stay here. He want to try to win a championship, and you didn't told him. You have in these trades you have told him we can't do that. We can't do that. We're not gonna let you go. Like that's they looked him directly in the eyes and was like, your best big man defender. Yeah, he out of here. The second best player on the team. Yeah, he gone. He gone. Tony Snell, who we signed in the offseason for some strange reason. Yeah, he gone too. Here's Josh Hart and a rookie, and we got some. we got a future first round pick for you.
You got a first for this draft, but it is it might be a future first. It's protected.
It's protected between like 5 and 14.
Okay. And that's the case. Yeah, it's not conveying this year.
And I was like, dude, this is the way the Pelicans are set up right now. That's what they're looking at. They're looking at between 5 and 14. So you hope they get worse. So you're either betting on them getting worse or getting better so you can get that first round pick. But it does convey to like an unprotected draft pick in the 2023, which not a backcourt, but Zion and CJ McCollum are going to be really fun if they play next year. And like there's a chance that this is not a lottery team next year. Yeah, I realize how crazy that sounds, and I'm putting like a lot of eggs in the horses, especially on like Zion's back, who has proven to us that he hasn't proven us anything. It's only been 3 years. We don't know. He's only been out for one of those seasons. If he can get everything together, like him and CJ McCollum is going to be one of the most fun teams to watch, like on the nightly basis. CJ McCollum's going to cook you for 20 and make highlights out of crossing the mess out of you. And Zion's going to put his nuts on your forehead. Like, That's going to be a fun matchup where the Blazers have said, "Hey, we got you, Josh Hart," and if they sign Josh Hart as a free agent, I would be super excited, because Josh Hart is exactly the type of player you need in the backcourt next to Damian Lillard. He's 6'5". He wants to play defense. And he does all of the hard work. That is exactly who you would like to have in a lineup next to Dame Lillard. Except it was like expensive CJ McCollum. Like, I feel bad for Dame in all of this because he is out with an injury right now, and I don't even know if they have their own first round pick this year. I didn't look that up. I don't care to. This summer, I need to see a headline that says Damian Lillard has been traded.
I don't know. Like they weren't good. They did that after all the stuff. They definitely didn't get better. There's an attempt to do something. I'm just not sure what. Because they put in a lot of effort in this here trade deadline, but I don't know what they're trying to work toward, other than the timeline where Chauncey Billups is the scapegoat for the Trailblazers being trash in a couple of years, even though you gave him garbage to work with that was garbage before he got there. And this is also separate, and I'm considering this one separate from the timeline where we say that Chauncey Billups is a trash basketball coach. Granted, they'll probably converge in that they'll say he's a trash basketball coach, even though, again, you gave him trash and Damian Lillard. So, like, I don't know.
Well, I know you've been nice and going off like Dame's reputation, and I get it. He was still averaging like 19 to 22 points before the injury. That man ain't been that good this season. We can just say they can trash.
Let me pull it up because I haven't paid the Blazers any attention.
You shouldn't watch good basketball. Like Anthony Simons has been their like bright spot, and with this trade, I was super excited because the prospect of having a 3-guard lineup with Nikhil Alexander, Josh Hart, and Anthony Simons going forward, like as a future like 3-guard tandem.
Okay, yeah, he hasn't
excited.
Mm-hmm.
It excited me, and then they took it away 24 hours later. Like, what was to go get I don't want to be mean and call this man washed, but this is not his. This is a down year, like significantly down year for my man from the Utah Jazz. Let me go back and see what his name is because I can't even think about it right now because I'm so puzzled. No, the Australian guy.
Ingles.
Yes. Like Joe Ingles of 3 years ago, I am okay with you going to go moving to Nikhil Alexander. But this is the end of this man's career. They do this all of the time. They go get they did the same thing with Robert Covington. And I made a claim that for Robert Covington to really be what you need somebody who can be a defensive anchor. He is not a defensive anchor. He is like the chain for the defensive anchor. Like, if that makes any sense. He attaches the anchor to the boat, and he can bring everything together, but he cannot be the anchor. That's not his thing. And like It's the same thing with Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles cannot be your best defender, and you think you about to win, especially now where he's older and he's not moving the same way. This was Calvin. Can you tell how frustrated I am right now? Because I would be lying if I told you I'm trying not to show it. It is oozing out of my pores. It's making me itch. Like I'm hot. I got nervous sweat, my boy. I'm pulling my hair out as we speak, bro. Let me be Kim. We on TV. Come on now. Like I'm gonna need a shower after talking about this because it feels dirty. It feels selfish, and it feels like you ever had a conversation with somebody who is not like well versed in basketball, and they start saying stuff, and you like, ooh, that is an awful move. It's like they gave that person an NBA franchise, and I've been, I watched that run that the Blazers had in 2018 to the Western Conference Finals, and as fluky as it may have seemed because of what the Blazers have been doing over the years, that was the perfect example of what they need. They need serious wing and forward defenders who can switch through multiple positions. And they don't need one, they need two. And they have missed the mark every single time. Here we are 4 years later, and they should just let Dame go wherever he. I don't care. I don't care if Dame want to stay. He's like, look, we not right for you. You gotta break up to him like on some sad stuff. It's like, it's not me, it's you. It's not you, it's me. I'm just gonna keep effing this up for you. Like, look me in my eyes when I tell you this. I'm not right for you. We not in the same place. And I feel like I'm just hurting you. Go be free, baby. Don't come back here. Then you gotta start throwing rocks at him. Like that's what their conversation should be. It's not a good situation over there.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess it sucks to be a Blazers fan. You know who doesn't have those problems though? Grizzlies fans.
Nets fans. Look, man. Great discussion about trades. 90 minutes into this as exciting as this trade deadline has been, once you get past like 2 trades, is a lot of I guess that was a move. And hard for me to say this was a good trade weekend when like after the big 2 is a lot of these is questionable. So guys, you've been tuning into another episode of the Traveling Hoopers podcast. I am your very disappointed host, Alan Pettigrew Jr., the man in front of me in that beautiful deep V-neck showing off his pecs is my guy, Calvin McGowan. If you liked and enjoyed what you heard today, go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. Go ahead and subscribe to the page. We do a lot of sports-related content. And, go ahead, like, subscribe. Tell us who was your favorite thing that happened over this troubled NBA draft deadline. And, Calvin, you can go ahead and sign us out.
All right. Once again, y'all, it's a pleasure to be here. If you're joining us on YouTube, like, share, subscribe. We saw them in the comments. You, of course, can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Have a great rest of the week.
Oof.